message. Please hold for a very important message. Please hold for a very important message.
Foodiegang, gang, gang. Foodiegang, gang, gang. Foodiegang, gang, gang. Hey, what is going on? What is going on? Welcome back to Time for Tea at 9:06. Good 8. But hey, we got some coffee here. Just because y'all know it's Monday, we still waking up. We are still waking up. But go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let me get my banner scrolling across the bottom. All right. And you know how you can keep the stove on, ways to support. You can send a super chat stars on Facebook, super sticker, or you can just hit the like button, but copy a membership, join the channel, and all that good stuff. Okay, I clearly need to drink my coffee because I'm talking crazy already. Okay, y'all. I wanted to get here at 7:30. I woke up at 7:15. So I said, clearly this ain't gonna happen. Your girl was knocked out, was sleeping so good, so good. During this weekend, we did open back up season 4 Kitchen Talk with Chef Big Bang, which is my live show where I'm primarily cooking live food reviews, doing interviews, and it's all about food for real, for real. So we opened that back up this weekend. I am still working on posting the picture, but the video is up. And we did do 2 prep episodes on my YouTube channel. You guys love when I prep. And you know what? My prep videos actually do better than when I actually cook. I'm like, I did not know I could just come here and cut the vegetables and y'all all be tuned in. But you guys love the prep episodes and we really get to talk and I really get to walk you guys through, how to prep your food out, how to cut up stuff. And we just be having some good conversation. Your girl be having a little drink. We would just be chilling. We just be chilling. So tap into the YouTube channel so that you can get all of my cooking content. Now, when I do Time for Tea, I do the episodes on YouTube and Facebook, but when I'm cooking, it's just on YouTube. You know why? YouTube is my home, my real home. My cooking videos just do so well on YouTube. And, that's why I primarily cook on YouTube. But I still love Facebook. I've met some amazing people on Facebook, and it's been great to network, but YouTube is where it's at. As far as long form content and going live, YouTube is where it's at. But on this episode of Time for Tea, we are going to talk about Todd Chrisley speaks after being pardoned by Trump. Was Tory Lanez railroaded? So We talked about the pardons that Trump offered or granted, I should say. Larry Hoover, NBA YoungBoy, Todd Chrisley, and Julie Chrisley, just to name a few. But excuse me, there also was so many other pardons that were handed out by the president. Those are just a couple of the names that are like the hot topics. So I'm gonna put that link in the chat too. Where the first video we talked about pardons, and then I also told you guys that Todd and Julie Christie are going to become prison reform advocates, and they're going to advocate for the prison system to be reformed. And we're going to hear a little bit of Todd Chrisley's speech. He did a press conference after he was released from prison. I have not reviewed that speech, so we are going to do it together here live on air. And one of the controversial names was Larry Hoover, which there has been a lot that has been going on with his name ever since the pardon was announced. I do want to cover that later on in this week, kind of do an update. We heard from the governor. We heard from 1090, I think it's 1090J, talking about some crazy allegations. So I do want to discuss that later on in the week. But here's the initial video that we did on the pardons that were granted by Trump. And today we're gonna go over Todd Chrisley's press conference after he was released. We are also going to talk more about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Remember that website that I mentioned to you guys that was started by the congresswoman and his legal team? We're gonna talk more about that, and I have I have another content creator reacting to the website and showing us more on the website. And we have to ask ourselves, if Tory is found innocent, what does that mean? Does somebody need to go to jail then if he is released? And I also have some great videos about that too. And I'm very curious about what's gonna happen. Some people think that Megan Thee Stallion is just gonna come on here crying and will be forgiven. Hey, B Renee. She said, hello, fellow content creator here. How are you doing? I always say, like, content creators, we gotta support each other because you gotta have thick skin. Okay, so when I cook and I'm in vertical view on YouTube, y'all, I get so many trolls. So this, on Saturday, I went out for breakfast, right? Because I normally cook breakfast on Saturday, but this time I was like, let me just go out and eat breakfast and be faster. The breakfast was delicious. I had an egg white veggie omelet, hash browns and English muffins, right? When I said we had so many trolls, it was crazy. But shout out to the moderators. Emperor was not playing with y'all and was on top of the trolls. But it was just so funny. Hey MD, how are you doing? And Renee said, yes, ma'am. Yes. A lot of trolls when I go into vertical view. We don't really get that many trolls when I'm on StreamYard, but they were trying to slip through the cracks. But we're not gonna let them. Let me play this video for y'all real quick so y'all know where we at. And everybody's on the same bird. Go.
Please hold for a very important message.
There you have it. Please hold for this very important message. Okay. So I think I'm going to take you guys into the Facebook food group. We're not going to be there for a turn. But I just want us to, look at some food, get us all warmed up. And before we get into the topics, but thank you guys all so much for being here. Oh, and I'm going to do a special shout out to all the members and a special shout out for the gang. We got Blue and we got Casey. Thank you guys so much. The members are, the support. I love the support. And we have a great time over here on 907 Giddy. We just be chilling despite the trolls. And which I gotta say, we be chilling, we be chilling. So let me get that pulled up. And like I said, I'm working on posting the season for dinner. I have to edit the photo, but thank you so much, B Renee. And you make content as well. I feel like I saw you in another chat, or maybe I even went to your channel before. You guys, I be okay, so you know how like certain people only watch certain stuff on YouTube or like they're like in their one niche. I be everywhere because I be everywhere because I get tired of certain sectors and like I get tired of the topics. So yeah. Okay, daddy. Eric said daddy's home. Look, don't be trying to get me in trouble coming over here. Trying to get me in trouble. Look. You thought you cared about me. Why you trying to get me caught up? But I be going everywhere. It's the moral of the story. I don't just watch one person or one thing or one side. I need to hear both sides. And then the truth going to be somewhere in the middle. And B Renee says, I'm everywhere too, child. I want to talk about it. Oh, yes. I need to hear everybody's opinion. 'Cause when you be listening to one side for too long, I feel like you don't really get the full story. I need to hear both sides and everybody's perspective. And I'm getting tired of like talking about the same stuff. And that's why I go to a lot of places. Nah, Eric, nah, you want to be daddy. Look, I always say, um, if you're gonna troll, at least be funny. But Eric is not a troll. We love Eric over here. We love Eric over here. But yeah, I go to a lot of different places. And you know what I don't get about y'all sometimes? Not y'all, because y'all not the trolls. The trolls, they be acting like they can't stand watching. It's like, well, you don't have to be here. I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, so this is a food group on Facebook, Chef Big Bang Foodiegang fan page, or it is now just Foodiegang fan page. I have shortened the name so that it's easier to find within the algorithm. There is us. There is us. We'll hit the like button on ourselves. 42 yellow cupcakes with Hershey icing, spaghetti with almost 7 pounds of ground beef. Wow, how many kids she got? Okay, I'm gonna click on it. I'm gonna mute the sound real quick. Dang, shit, 40. Must got a whole lot of kids. But you know what? One thing I'll say is spaghetti is popular amongst kids. I believe. Well, I know like for me, Ava's a really picky eater, but she will eat some spaghetti. She will eat some spaghetti for sure. Ooh, sweet potato pie. Okay, black people, when you even offer pumpkin pie, they be insulted. Um, I don't mind pumpkin pie, but sweet potato pie, it is where it's at, and it do be hitting. Go. And y'all, sorry, y'all might hear some planes flying over. Y'all might hear some planes flying over. We do not have good forecasts for this week. And I'm so sad about it. But as soon as we get a sunny day, we will be going back outside. She wrote your card. I don't know what that is in that bowl. Taylor Swift Crunchy Wrap. Well, I don't associate Taylor Swift with good food. You know, like I feel like she be eating like lettuce wraps, which are not nasty. There's nothing wrong with lettuce wraps, but I don't feel like she be eating right. Or maybe she be eating right and I be eating wrong. And Good Morning posted a picture of food below. We like to welcome our new members. So those are our new members. Um, I have not been engaging in Facebook. And I'm sorry, I've been so busy. So busy. And then yesterday I was like, let me take the day off and let me, kind of get everything ready for this. Oh, it's a happy birthday dinner. I was like, let me get everything ready for the week. And you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of. And I've been up here going hard. I was like, let me take a day off. B. Renee said that's the number one meal I would make for my daughter with small itch stretches. Yes. I know that you guys are absolutely tired of me seeing spaghetti or tired of me making spaghetti, but my daughter is a very picky eater. And that is one of the things that I know she will eat is spaghetti. So let's like some barbecue chicken here and some rice. Okay, okay, looking like nothing wrong with a good, like, sometimes you gotta make dinner quickly. This woman is always making ice cream, and she made a peanut butter chocolate banana ice cream. But she's always making delicious desserts. And she just got the Ninja Creamy. I really want that machine. It's like where you can make ice cream and then it comes out like with the swirl too. Well, I think they have different attachment. Shout out to the Easley family. When I first started making content, these were some of the first YouTubers I met. And so they were here in the beginning, like when it was less than 100 subscribers. And, we've always just kind of stayed in touch. These are my content friends. They are a beautiful family. And then they have they have a beautiful family, husband and wife. They had a couple of kiddos. But I met them when I first got on YouTube. And I've always kind of kept in touch with them, and I'm so honored that they joined my Facebook group. And I would love for them to come up one day, but I know they're busy. And when I met them, I believe that they had just had a baby, and they got like 3, 4 kids. So I didn't look. I ain't even mad at them. Like I know y'all be busy. So Hen and Co. Eric said, I thought that was a topic a couple of days ago. They're out now, right? Yes, he's talking about the pardon. And Eric actually came up on the episode when we was rolling. Yes, they are out of prison now. Well, okay. Todd Chrisley, Julie Chrisley, and I believe NBA YoungBoy. Larry Hoover is fighting 200 years on the state level. So he's still in custody, but Todd is out and Todd had a press conference. We're gonna review that together. And I heard that in that press conference, he was saying how bad prison conditions were, which is what we already knew. There's nothing new here. But now he has joined that bandwagon and that fight. Do you guys remember? Now this is looking good. Do y'all remember when Meek Mill was advocating for prison reform? And he probably still is. But when he was going through his They had it out for Meek Mill. When he was going through what he was going through, he was talking about how there needs to be prison reform, which is what we already knew. But when people that are famous go to prison, it's a different story. New week, let's go, y'all. Beef enchilada, Spanish rice, apple burrito, homemade with chips and dip on a Sunday night. Mr. P be eating good. Mr. P be eating good. Ooh, I know you lying. Bluebell ice cream just brought the cookie cake back. Ooh, have y'all ever had this before? No, it's delicious. Seafood curry cob dip. I don't know. I don't know about this one, y'all. I don't know about that one. Oh, okay, so the season 4 opener, the dinner was so good. I'm gonna make sure I post that picture today. Ooh, French toast. That is a good one. That is a good one. You guys know that these little videos where people are cooking the whole meal take forever. That's why I don't do that many. I'm like, let me just go live real quick and be done with it. Then I ain't gotta edit nothing. But I love me some French toast. God is so good. Happy Sunday, everyone. Much love to you all. This is Chef Shirley, which is Eric's favorite person. He talks about Chef Shirley all the time. And we have been trying to get Chef Shirley back here, but she is busy. Hey, yo. So you guys were saying that you wanted me to talk about Diddy. So this is what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do like a catch up because we're so behind on everything. Maybe like once a week we'll report on it. I was thinking I'll do like catch up because we're kind of late in the case, but we're not late. It's just there's a lot going on. So, because y'all do want me to talk about Diddy. And Eric said, "Ain't Meek Mill the subject of the Diddy stuff?" Look, in my perspective, let me get my slipper, y'all. There's a lot of suspects in that case. And we ain't even heard it all. Some people think Diddy's innocent. He didn't do nothing. And some people think Diddy's a monster. But I was thinking about it because you guys were saying that y'all wanted me to report on it. But I've been thinking, like, where am I going to hop in? So I think what we're going to do is we're just gonna take a whole time for tea episode and we're gonna talk about Diddy and kind of bring us up to speed. We'll drop the link and then we just gonna talk about Diddy for 4 hours. And after that, we need to go cleanse our souls. I wasn't even gonna talk about Diddy because it's so nasty. But it is interesting. And it's interesting because Diddy was on top. Everybody was like, I don't know. It's weird to see all this going down, but man, Diddy gonna have to move out the country after this is over because it's over. Even if he beats the case, he walks free. We will never forget some of the things that we have heard. We will never forget the faces. We will never forget the Cassie video. Like there's just certain things that we're just not gonna forget. We can't. We can't get it out of our brain. You know, I'll say this. They couldn't paint Diddy as a bad person if he wasn't a bad person. Does that make sense? Like, there's no way they put all that on you and you just innocent. No, you did it. Or some of it. I don't know about all the RICO charges and all that, but I'm just saying as far as like the DV, you definitely did that. We saw that one. We're not even going to debate that one. But we are going to talk about Diddy one of these days. I think we're going to just do it um a catch up on everything because it's a lot. And Eric said Chef Shirley is one of my favorites. Yes, we absolutely love Chef Shirley. If you're on Facebook, she is on Facebook a lot, and you can see she shares pictures of when she does her catering events. She even has her mom on there all the time. So I am I do follow Chef Shirley on Facebook. So I'm always seeing her pictures and always seeing what she has going on. And Chef Shirley just celebrated her birthday. So Eric, go follow your girl on Facebook. I know one thing. Ever since I did that interview, Eric never let me forget it. Okay, so we are going to get into the content. We're going to get into Todd Chrisley, and what everything he has going on. And then I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up. Are y'all ready for Monday? Is everybody doing good? Okay, so Eric said he already followed. He said, "Don't try to play me." Yeah. Yeah, Chef Shirley's still doing her catering business. Um, she looks like she's doing great. She just celebrated her birthday. Um, yeah, I love when we do interviews here because it gives you guys the opportunity to like meet someone that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise, and then it also gives us opportunity to be able to like share somebody's story. Okay, so that link is pinned to the top of the chat. We're gonna get this video pulled up here. Let me stop this. One thing I will say is, to me, Todd didn't even look like he had been in prison. He must have been on the good side or something. I don't know what was going on. Okay, before I show his speech, I am going to show you guys the initial reporting of when it was announced that he had got a pardon from the president. For those of you guys that don't know what's going on, so we're going to play the backstory first, and then we're going to play his speech, and all that stuff. A lot of people think that pardons are for sale, and they might be. Oh, and y'all know, okay, so I think it was Friday, I was up here talking, and we got some news that they said Diddy or Trump pardoned Diddy. I was like, how is that possible? Diddy hasn't even been convicted of anything. Like his charges haven't even been completed. Did some research. The president said he would think about it after he looked into the case. So Trump did not pardon Diddy. He cannot do that until he's actually convicted. He has real charges because right now they're only in court. Eric, I agree with you because Tom was looking like he went in the same day, and I don't know if he has somebody coming into the prison giving him his Botox injections while he was in there or what. But like the way these celebrities be looking when they go to jail and come out versus regular people would just be so different. So I agree with you. They don't do hard time. Because ain't no way he was really doing hard time up in there like that. Todd had to be scared in prison. But at the same time, we kind of heard a little bit about it with Tory. They probably respected him because you did have money. My headphones on. I need to put these on. I ain't gonna be hear nothing. Okay, so Trump pardons reality show couple Todd and Julie Chrisley. I don't know if we're gonna hear from Julie, but we'll have to when we watch the interview we can tell if we're gonna hear from her or not. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get right into the content. Let's go.
to two reality TV stars, Todd and Julie Chrisley, known for their hit show, Chrisley Knows Best. They were convicted of defrauding banks out of tens of millions of dollars. Both Chrisleys convicted back in 2022.
Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have my headphones all the way plugged in, so we're gonna restart this. I'm gonna slide this one back to the beginning. Okay, so B. Renee says, I agree. Julie looks more rough. Okay, I have not seen how Julie looks, so we are gonna see. But that's my thing. If you go to prison and you come out looking the same way, in my mind, you didn't really go to prison. um, and that is true, y'all. Diddy's out here looking like a whole lion. They're not letting Diddy dye his hair. And is he in jail or is that jail or prison or federal custody? We'll say federal custody. They're not letting him dye his hair, so it's all gray. And it's like, dang, Diddy, so you was lying about that too? Y'all, it's time for two. We talk about people during this segment. Yeah, I don't know what type of prison Todd went to. I don't know what Todd was going through. I don't know. But from the clip I seen, Todd was looking regular, which is good. You don't want somebody to go to prison and come out looking all beat down and tore up. But let's keep it real here. Let's keep it real here. Let me see do this. Okay, here we go.
President Trump tonight issuing pardons to two reality TV stars, Todd and Julie Chrisley, known for their hit show, Chrisley Knows Best. They were convicted of defrauding banks out of tens of millions of dollars. Both Chrisleys convicted back in 2022 and still had several years left on their prison sentences. A White House staffer posting video from the moment Trump called their children to tell them the news.
Give them my regards and...
Can you guys hear it okay? Because I was having some sound issues in the beginning. Let me try to turn this up. Can y'all hear it good? Okay, so one thing about Trump is so funny to me. But like Eric said when he was up here, Trump does things on purpose to get a reaction. And that's why I kind of feel like he would pardon P. Diddy, because he knows it's gonna make everybody so mad. But then again, the claims that, or what is being alleged from Diddy, or what is being alleged that Diddy has done, it is a lot. So I don't know if they want to get into that PR nightmare if he does pardon Diddy, but we gonna have to wait and see. Eric said Todd was washing drawers and braiding chest hair. Look. Todd was probably like, okay, boys, that's what we had to do. Look, Todd was up in there. He had all his zesties. He was a pack leader. But Todd's been married for years and years and years. And one thing I would say is that the woman he had most of his kids with, I believe, he is still with. Now the older kids, they might have a different mom, but those younger ones, he has been with that woman, and some people say it's because they're both sassy, but I don't know. Look, Todd was up in there showing them how to do what they call it. When a man takes care of himself, he was up there showing them how to do that. How to arch their eyebrows and everything.
Wish them a good life.
Mr. President.
Yes. How are you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing my parents back.
Yeah, well, they were given a pretty harsh treatment based on what I'm hearing. Pretty harsh treatment.
Yes, sir.
Trump's pardon comes after the Chrisleys' daughter, Savannah.
No, they wasn't. They stole $30+ million allegedly. They got what they deserve. I don't hear you calling nobody, no black family saying, oh, they were given a hard sentence. Bro, Larry Hoover literally got 6 life sentences in 200 years. And these people that stole $30+ million got 20 years combined, pretty much. Todd got 12 and Chrisley got Todd got 12 and Julie got 8. Bro, Trump, calm down. They're not I don't know how they were treated. I thought, okay, that's what it's called. It's called manscaping. Yeah, Todd was in there teaching them how to do that. But this whole thing, like you got unfairly charged. There are people who are found with a little bit of weed and get years. So stop it, Trump. We know they paid the money. We're not mad though. Money talks, okay? But let's see what else you got to say.
Who you heard in that video, made an appearance on a Fox News show hosted by Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump. Senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez joins us now from the North Lawn. Gabe, what do we know about why Trump decided to grant this pardon?
Well, Elson, you just saw that video posted by one of his aides. You know, he was speaking with his children, their children rather, by phone from the Oval Office. Now, in that video, he said that this should never have happened to the Chrisleys, that they were given pretty harsh treatment, as you just heard. And look, a jury found the couple guilty of fraud, including charges related to a tax evasion scheme that went on for years. Now, investigators accused the couple of submitting false documents to request bank loans and using a production company to hide income from the IRS. Now, President Trump has repeatedly railed against what he calls the weaponization of the justice system. He sees himself as being targeted.
No, what happened here is that they were scamming. They were scamming. It's okay. We're not mad. They were scamming. And so they said lock them up. I don't feel like they were done unfairly. I feel like they were scamming and they got what they got. A wake-up call. But I think they're going to spin this as we are now prison reform advocates, which actually is very smart. This is what Big Misha did when he got out of prison. That's just how you spin it.
Targeted because of his fame. He's said that before. And it was just a few months ago that he pardoned former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who'd been serving time for public corruption. So late today, Allison, the White House said the president always is pleased to give well-deserving Americans a second chance, especially those who have been unfairly targeted and overly prosecuted by an unjust justice system, he wrote.
Trump is tripping. Okay, they were not treated unfairly. There was not a bunch of injustice that went on here, not in this particular situation. Honestly, with the charges being true and convicted in a court of law, I just feel like they should have got more years. They should have got a heavier sentence. I feel like sentencing was very light on them.
Now, that was according to a White House official. The president is now expected to officially sign the pardons within the next 24 hours, else.
Gabe, let's step back a little. And you mentioned a different pardon that the president has done that was considered controversial by some. So far, President Trump's choices for pardons this term have caused quite a bit of controversy, starting with his pardoning of nearly all of the January 6th defendants. Has the White House indicated that there's any sort of strategy at play when it comes to these pardons?
Well, so these pardons play well with his base, many of whom feel that they've been unfairly held back or targeted by the establishment. Now, I just mentioned what he thinks of the justice system. Well, the pardon requests apparently keep coming. U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin personally received pardon applications from members of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, including members who were convicted of seditious conspiracy. And that's according to a former classmate of President Trump who's working on the issue. That's what he told NBC News.
So like this, if you are in prison and you are on federal charges, this is the best opportunity you're going to have to try to get a pardon. So I think that's, and you know what? If I was in prison, I would be trying to get free too. Can you really blame them? But I do feel like this is going to be Diddy's only chance, really. Because after this, I don't know. They might, I don't think anybody's going to help the way Trump is helping these rappers, these celebrities. This is your best opportunity to get a pardon. So that video that I just showed you guys was 5 days ago. Todd Chrisley is now out of prison, and he did a press conference. And we're gonna go over that press conference. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about how it looks. This was 3 days ago. Everything's very recent here, so let's get into what's going on. But look at Chris Chrisley. He is happy to be out. That's probably why they wanted Trump to be president. But shout out to his daughter because she did exactly what I would want my daughter to do for me, which is advocate on my behalf. I didn't want my kids to ever give up on me. And one thing I would say about her is it seems like she was not giving up. I mean, to go to the president and ask for a pardon, like that's a big deal. So shout out to Savannah. I know Todd has to be very proud of his daughter, and Todd looks very happy to be out.
I appreciate the attention to this matter. I know folks have wanted to talk to Todd and Savannah, so they're here to do that. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell a few words. We'll take questions after.
How are you guys? Good. We woke up today and they were still at home. So it's honestly felt like such a dream to have them at home. And I'm just so grateful, obviously, to President Trump, the administration, Alice Johnson, just everyone within the pardons office. Alice obviously came on my podcast a year and a half ago, I think, before she ever even got the role. And what I respect about her is she's not in the art of giving favors. Neither is President Trump. And when she got the role, she looked into our case. They saw the injustices. The media loves to run with this $30 million scheme without doing the research to look into the documents. And there was no $30 million scheme. But I just appreciate the administration.
Look, you ain't got a lot of us, little girl. We look. So okay, so if it wasn't $30 million, then what is the real number? Was they scamming? Was they scamming? And then Eric said Trump slick. He let his people out and let one or two random people out to mask what he's doing. That's a good point. Because when we were up here on Friday, I believe it was Friday, one of these days, we was talking about why is this pardoning happening? We all thought it was very, very fishy that it was going on. And we were like, I wonder why this is happening. Like, what is going on? Why is, you know what I'm saying? So, but Eric makes a good point. Maybe that's why he did do it. Maybe that's why he did do it. Okay, it was the 29th. I don't know if that was Friday or what, but we be going live so much in here. All the days be running together. But that's a good point. Maybe he did let out. Do y'all think NBA Youngboy was Trump's friend or he was the? So she's saying that there's no $30 million scheme. Y'all reaching with that?
Administration looking into it and seeing the faults within our case, the corruption, and just the weaponization of the DOJ. So we are just so excited and moving forward. Obviously, getting them home the past 2.5 years, I have fought. Like, that was my number one priority, was getting my parents home. But now that they're home, now we move on to all the other men and women that are in the system and getting them home. And I know we're going to continue to work. We're going to be in DC, and Mom and Dad are now along for the ride because we're not leaving those men and women behind. There's too much work that needs to be done. There's too much reform that needs to be done. So we're just super excited. And here he is, Todd Chrisley, after running from, the media in Nordstrom yesterday.
Good.
You know what's so funny to me? Prison reform has always needed to happen. The system has always been broken. But it wasn't until they got threw up in there and they was done unjust. Now they want to help other people. Now they want to reform the system. But before, they was locking y'all up or throwing cases on y'all. Y'all didn't care. Because the prison system has been broke for so long, and Black people have been saying this. But now that they throwing y'all in there, then y'all like, oh, it's real bad in here. We can't take it. This ain't right. This is unjust. It's sad that it took for you to personally go to jail or prison for you to care. But are we happy that they're finally coming around to it, or are we still looking at them with the side eye? But we all knew prison was terrible. We all knew people was getting mistreated. But let's go back in. Let's hear what Todd got to say. But I did used to watch the Chrisley Knows Best. I think it was Chrisley Knows Best. I did used to watch that show.
Good morning, guys. Thank you all very much for coming today, for having the interest. I want to thank first and foremost my Lord and Savior, because that's who got me through it. I want to thank President Trump. I want to thank the administration. I want to thank Alice Johnson. I want to thank every person that has prayed for us, that has stayed in the fight and that fought for the truth to come out. And so I am grateful for it. And as Savannah said, she has fought a long fight. And for any parent to see their child fight this hard, it's a double-edged sword. It's a blessing, and then your heart breaks because your child has been placed in that position to fight for you, when as a parent, you're supposed to fight for your children. So I will always be grateful to you from the bottom of my heart. We've had wonderful legal representation, maybe not in the first go-round, but certainly when you picked up. And we're certainly grateful to you, Alex, and to you. This is the better-looking version of our team. So, you know, we're grateful for everything that has happened thus far, and as bad as this experience has been, there's also been a lot of blessings to come from it. I have met some wonderful men. I have listened to some horrific stories about things that have gone on in our system.
Yeah, I bet you did meet some wonderful men. One thing I was saying, you know, I'm sorry, men don't know here. It sounds like he got humbled. Because I used to watch his show, and on his show, he had a big head. He was like, I know everything, and rich this, fabulous this, designer this. He done look like he went up in there and got humbled. He got a taste of his own medicine. Yeah, that's right. Nobody's too big to fall. But I'm glad that he is coming out and talking different. But he went in there and got humbled. He did. He thought he was above the law. And even though you didn't serve your full sentence, I'm glad you did it in 2 years. And I hope you learn your lesson. I hope you learn your lesson. Don't play with these people.
And whether you believe it or not, because I was you at some point, even though this pardon has happened, I still was convicted of something that I did not do. It could be you. It could be you. It could be any of you. And somewhere in this room, someone has had a family member that has been affected by this system. So I understand the shame that's around it, but I refuse to feed into that, because shame is like a cancer that just spreads, and I have no shame. So I will continue to fight for all the guys that I dealt with and that I was blessed to be with at FPC Pensacola. I will continue to expose the injustices that go on there and throughout the department and throughout the Bureau of Prisons. I know that Julie, who is a wonderful, decent, God-fearing woman, and that I am blessed to have been married to and been with for over 30 years now, an excellent mother. She's at home with Chloe right now, and Chloe will not let her go. So we're blessed to have our family back, and we're blessed to be coming back to television, because we do have a much bigger story to tell now than we ever have.
Wait, hold on. He said we're coming back to television? Wait, I wonder if TV gonna pick it up or something. He said we're coming back to TV. But I like this Todd way better than the other one. The other one was he just fooled himself. But now he done got humbled.
So I thank each and every one of you.
Happy to open this up for some questions. We'll start here.
Tom and Savannah, what was the what was the reunion like first night, right? Todd, Julie, and family. And the second part of that is, Todd, the fans have been really talking about your physical transformation.
Yeah, I call it the BOP glow.
And so what was the motivation behind that, and how are you going to continue that sort of fitness routine moving forward?
Well, I'll actually have more access to better products now that I'm out.
Oh, I bet Todd doesn't look bad. He looks like he's been humbled. He thought he was too good to fall, and he went in there with some real people and got humbled. And then Eric said Todd got to help the guys in prison who watched his back while he was in. Yeah, they come to get Todd. I like the humbleness. Cause it shouldn't have took all this, but since it did, I like how he's humble. Um, and even though Trump got you out, mess around, do some more crime. They're gonna throw you right back in there on some different charges. And Trump ain't gonna be president in the end. So he ain't coming to save y'all. So they're saying that they are completely innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. They were lied upon, and the charges were actually fake. Is kind of what it sounds like. What's going to be their story. I'm curious to hear or to see what TV show they talking about, or what are they gonna. So we will see. We will see.
I think that I had nothing to do other than to read and to work out. And so I worked out every morning at 10:45 until 12 with my buddies there. And I read, and my walk with Christ became deeper. And I talked to my daughter every day, to Chase, to Grayson. And then I was able to email with Julie every day. And so I think that for me, I haven't had the same effects that so many people leaving the prison system have had. So I'm grateful for that. Or maybe it's just all the residual Botox that never wore off.
What was the reunion like, the first night?
Yes.
Told y'all, he be in Botox, and he's like, okay, maybe that's crazy though, that he got that much Botox, that he went to prison for 2 years and his face never fell. That's crazy. Or I think, in my opinion, somebody was coming up in there giving him his shots. Because ain't no way.
I think for me, obviously, I went to pick up my dad. And when he walked out, it was just such an overwhelming feeling, because the last time I was there, I was dropping him off and watching him walk away. So I think watching him walk towards me, I was an absolute disaster. And we left there, and it was amazing. And I FaceTimed my friend Margot, who works within the administration, and she goes, hold on a second. She was like, I'm here with the president. And we got to FaceTime the president. And it was a full circle moment.
I think that it was, as Savannah said, she and Nick dropped me off there, and then you picked me up. I don't even know that I felt like that it was real at that moment. And I woke up the first morning, and I was looking around. I'm like, this is really real. I'm home. So I was grateful for our family to be all back in the same room, to be together, to share a meal together, to pray together, and to know that we're still in the fight together.
Question, Mr. Chrisley, do you have any remorse for the actions that led to your evictions?
Oh, you must be CNN. Do I have any remorse? I would have remorse if it was something that I did.
Well, your wife did apologize.
Wow. Okay, so the reporter said, do you have any remorse? And he said, you must be CNN. That's a fair question. And he said he has no remorse because he didn't do it. Yeah. Eric said she Botoxing too. Yes, heavy on the Botox. But in a couple of years, when you start Botoxing when you're young, I don't think it's not gonna end well. You start putting stuff into your face and just looking crazy. He looks crazy in my opinion, and she's starting to get there. Like, Well, your bow, I seen people are like 25 in their 20s getting Botox. What are you doing in here? You don't even need Botox at that age. Yeah, they're starting to look crazy. And then it's like when people get Botox, what you notice is like their face right here starts to look heavy. It starts to look heavy because they're injecting too much of it. And I seen somebody get the injection before, and I was like, I would never do this. Y'all love yourself. Quit trying to avoid being old. Get old and embrace being old. And in her case, she's not even old. She's just getting Botox to get Botox. And it is very expensive. That's why they had a scam to up to $30 million to pay for the Botox and all the other stuff they was doing. Todd, you know you did it. You need to stop. Okay, if you didn't do 30 million, did you at least do a million? Ain't no way that the feds just lied on you, gave you this case, and you didn't do nothing. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, but we get it. That's part of y'all story. Y'all deny, deny, deny. Hey, best friend, what's going on? What's going on? She said, hola, best friend. What is going on? We're talking about Todd Chrisley, and we're going through his press conference. And you know how we do. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you can hear me. Shout out to her because when I first went live, I'm like, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Because if something is wrong with the sound, I want to know immediately so I can try to fix it. She said Trump is a troll. Y'all, did y'all hear about the food stamp situation? We might have to talk about that one these days. Apparently, they're going to reform the food stamps. They're going to cut it. And I was just like, I'm glad I have one kid. People out here with people out here with a whole bunch of kids. Oh man. Oh man. They're mad. She said, my bad, I was behind the chat. That is why I do not like watching live streams off my phone. For some reason, it just like keeps me, it goes behind and it's not live. And so I have to keep refreshing if I'm watching my phone. So we might have to talk about the food stamps. Okay, and we might have to talk about the food stamps. He said that they're gonna have some type of reform bill that's gonna go to the Congress or something like that. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to talk about that and really do a deep dive because that is us. We're about the food. Yes, that's what we really care about is the food. Okay. And then B Renee says, I heard about that. I've never qualified for that. I used to get about $100 in food stamps. And then when Trump became president, they kicked me off and have to like recertify. But these people talking about they were getting like $700 a month, getting $2,200 a month. That's a lot of food stamp money. And what a lot of people do, they be reselling their food stamps. Well, I wish I got $700 in food stamps. But I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't even eat no more food. I need to eat less. But yes, I used to get like $100 in food stamps. When they cut it off, I wasn't like mad. I wasn't tripping. I wasn't like, well, you're not gonna see me on the internet complaining though, like some of these people. But imagine if you get 2,200 in food stamps a month. How many kids do you have to get that much? Or even to get $700? That's a lot of money. And you know what's crazy? Some people still can't cook. And if I don't get food stamps, I wish I did though. Yeah, me too. I wish I got look, if I got $700 in food stamps, y'all, we eating good over here. We eating good, but I ain't got no food stamps, so we still eat good though. Still eat good. God is good, and I'll say this: a lot of people losing their food stamps or whatever, like making these rants and, oh, what are we gonna do? I was like, you need to have more faith in the Lord. She gets $2,400 a month? Dang. Wow. I'm sorry, I'm behind in the chat. Dang, $2,400 a month? That's what's up. Yeah, I was happy with my little $100. I'm making a stretch. And Renee said, I wish I could get about $300. I would be happy. Dang. But 2,400 a month? That's a lot. And I do think that like they need to redo the totals or redo the amount. So how you getting $2,200 a month and the person over here is not getting nothing? I don't think that's fair. And then they spend all that money on junk food. They don't even get real food like me and NF do and cook real meals. Um, yeah, $700. I'm gonna have a banquet every day. Look, I'll be over here juicing to eat drinking smoothies with fresh fruit. Dang, 20. Oh, and I said, yep, she has 8 kids. Well, and if you let me know if she's gonna keep her food stamps, is she experiencing what those other people are? But 8 kids, ooh, y'all can keep that $2,400. I'll take my one kid with no stamps and I'll make it work. 8 kids, I'll weigh you down in life. And enough said it's sad because they took the food stamps from the immigrants down here, so it's sad. You know, a lot of people felt some type of way about the immigration system, but yeah, we're gonna have to talk about food stamps um, during the week because that, you know, goes directly into what we talk about, which is food. And it's a big deal right now. There's a lot of people that are hurt, or affected, and just really unhappy with this. And then that's another point. The immigrants and the food stamps. A lot of people feel like immigrants shouldn't even get food stamps or they shouldn't get government assistance. But NF is a very sweet woman. El Chipo is a very sweet woman. There are just kind-hearted people that feel bad for the kids. And I know El Chipo, she lives in California. And so as far as the immigration, she's seeing it happen a lot. And we have to talk about it. She don't like what's going on, but we're just good people. We want everybody to be fed, everybody to be happy. And enough said they do down here. And then it's the immigration system or the immigrants is a tough situation. Food stamps is a tough situation. And when you have a whole bunch of kids and you're getting $700 in food stamps or $2,400 and they take it away, yeah, you're gonna be mad. One lady said she about to start stealing. Now I don't think that's a good answer, but that's what she said she gonna do. Ooh, okay, Eric, we see you, Zaddy. Eric said he went and got a grown man picture. Eric, they already think you fine over here. You're doing the most now. I agree with that, Eric. My opinion is that in order to get food stamps, you should be working or in between jobs. One of the things that they are going to do with food stamps now, and are definitely going to have to do a live stream because I see how passionate y'all are about these food stamps. One of the things that they are going to do with the food stamps now is that you have to be working. I think it said at least 20 hours a week. I think it was 20 or 40, which is not bad. I don't know. I do feel like if your kids are grown and they're all out of the house, I don't know why you can't go to work. Like, I don't know, but you got to think though, these people have been getting taken care of. And when you take care of somebody and then you try to cut it off, it's a problem. You guys ever have that family member who is actually for a ride or two, so you gave them a ride? They asked him $20, so you give them $20. And they keep asking you for stuff and you keep giving it. And then when you try to cut them off, that's when they go on the Facebook, social media rant. That's when you become the worst person in the world. So you got to be careful with enabling people. If I get $700 of food stamps and you tell me one day you're going to cut it off, I'll be mad too. But I was only getting $100. I wasn't tripping. I only have one kid. I'm going to make it work. Y'all already can clearly see I'm not going hungry. So I wasn't tripping on my little $100, but $700, 2,400, $900, and I only have one kid to feed, and she honestly don't even like a bunch of stuff. Eric, and that's Eric over here. If you work, you can't get them, which is crazy. One of the things I do like what Trump is going to do is reform the assistants. It is very unfair that someone like myself who was on disability, if I go and work 40 hours a week as a CMA, my Medicaid will be cut off and all of my other stuff. And you guys were here when I talked about, well, I did a video talking about how I have a brain tumor. I need Medicaid. I need health insurance. So it kind of keeps you down at the same time, because if you are on assistance or you are getting food stamps, like NSA, you can't work. So I'm glad that they are going to reform it. I have no issue with getting working a real job. And Eric, you already know I was in the kitchen. Like, I don't have no problem with working. But when you say, if you work, we're cutting everything off, it's like, dang. So a lot of people are kind of in a bind, but I do think that they should reform assistance and food stamps, and people should be allowed to work and still get help. Like, if I'm working, why do you gotta cut off all the help? Maybe I need both so I can actually get somewhere. But we know how y'all feel. Y'all feel like we should go marry people and we shouldn't be single, which I don't disagree with. And it says, so lazy ass bums get them and sell them, shake them head, yet immigrant families stay hungry because they give them to people who don't want to do nothing in life. That life is crazy. And it's an incentive to keep popping out babies. Okay, and if I have a question, this is a very question. I don't want to offend nobody. When you say immigrants, are you talking about illegal immigrants or are you talking about immigrants? Because I do feel like there's a difference between that too. A lot of people feel like, if you came over here illegally, sorry, I'm fixing my chain. You came over here illegally, you shouldn't even be getting public assistance. But that's a touchy subject. Eric said, I feel a certain kind of way about the food stamp system. I grew up in a one-income home and we never qualified to receive them. And I feel like they should redo the requirements. I don't know. Assistance needs reform. We are seeing people abuse the system, clearly. Hey, sis. And if y'all know me in real life or you grew up with me, you gonna call me TT. That's my nickname from the hood. If you ever worked with me or we went to school together, you're gonna call me Letitia. If you know me from YouTube, you'll call me 907 or Chef. I feel like every stage in life, I have a different nickname I go by. She said we was getting 2,700 in food stamps. NF's you said it was your sister, but she got 8 kids, Toya. So if you have 8 kids, you might be able to get food stamps, but now don't y'all be careful with that, because they want you to work to get food stamps, which is very, very fair in my opinion. But it's just who qualifies and who don't qualify is just very it's very shady, I feel. And then Eric said, I've never qualified for food stamps since I started working at the age of 17. But if you're a woman, you have 4 kids and don't have no baby daddy, the government will help you out so much. It make you want to have more kids. And it's like, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, 8 kids, bro. I'm jumping. My sister only has 1 kid, and I have 1 kid, and we barely be getting by. 8 kids, bro. That's a whole daycare. That's a small daycare classroom. That's crazy. um, my body can't even take 8 kids. I'm be looking like a blob after I pop all them kids out. But I would say this um in certain type of cultures and certain type of families, they have big families. They're used to having kids. And she said, but there's nothing wrong with you want to have 8 kids, if she got 8 kids. But we're saying we ain't gonna do it. And I said, now best friend, my sister-in-law came from Mexico 12 years ago with political asylum because her husband beat her and her kids, and now Trump took the help she had away. Oh, and so I am glad that you're here, NF, to give another perspective about, immigration, illegal immigration, because you're absolutely right. Everyone is not a bad person. You know what I'm saying? But it is tricky now with Trump because even if you have political asylum, or if you said that you were running because you didn't want to be part of a gang or something like that, um, they are shipping people back, is what it looks like. Ooh, y'all. Sis said struggle is real too with the kids. And we got a question. Did she have the 8 kids before she came up here? And she works a part-time job like they asked because she pays rent and she pays taxes. So all 2,700 of the food stamps have been taken away. See, we nosy here and that. We need you to hit the link and tell us. Or when we do the food stamp episode, we gotta talk about the food stamps more because I see everybody is it's deep. Oh, she got 3 U.S. citizen kids. 2 are the ones who came with her. Oh, yeah, they sent her a letter that they are going to take that from her as well. Um, I'm glad I just have 1 kid, but I have 1 kid because I know I can afford more. And do you guys think with what they're doing with food stamps, it'll make people slow down having kids? But that's a terrible situation to be in. Since way too many kids laughing like she don't have TV. Yeah, she don't have TV, and I don't think she even have time. Okay, no, best friend, you got it confused. Laughing my out. My sister is the one with 8 kids, and my sister-in-law is the one from Mexico. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're talking about 2 different people. Hey, Drip, how are you doing? We're just talking about. We got into the subject of food stamps because we were talking about Todd and we're talking about the kids and all that stuff. But we're gonna have to do an episode on food stamps. Okay, NF, I would definitely have to set something up. And I would love it if you could, join the panel. NF does faceless content, but lately she been showing her face. But I would love to do an episode with you talking about, food stamps and all that stuff. And I love that you have a different perspective because a lot of times we talk about illegal immigration or talk about immigration, but we don't personally know anybody. So that's like a different perspective because you're seeing the other side. Like these are humans. Um, and she said, well, I'm down when you do this podcast on this. I will join on with you to talk. I don't mind. All my husband's family is struggling bad. Dang. Okay. We should be sending you a message on IG because I think that that would be a great live stream, and you'll be a great person to come up and share your story. Cause you're down there, like you really see what's going on. And she said, I'll show my face too. I've been showing my face lately on other channels. I mean, I'm so glad because you know what? At the end of the day, everybody just needs to love themselves and accept yourself for who you are. And a lot of these people aren't on the internet are not even that cute. They're not that cute anyway. And people don't care about how you look. They more so care about how you carry yourself and what you say. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back into this. Let's see what else he got to say. He's taking questions and they're asking, "Are you guilty? Do you feel any remorse?"
Well, let me explain to you how that works, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You're placed in a position as a defendant to either bow down and kiss the ass of the Department of Justice and accept responsibility for things that you did not do in order to avoid a stronger sentence. And the corruption that went on in our case is going to continue to unfold, and Alex is going to continue to give each and every one of you the evidence that as it comes in. Next question.
You haven't seen your wife in so long. Hearing her voice, seeing her, what was that like?
It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. Julie and I have been together for over 30 years, and she is my best friend. We have raised our children together, a grandchild that is now my legal daughter, and we've had all the ups and downs. We've gone through breast cancer together. We've gone through multiple medical procedures with her, and it was great to be home. No matter where that is, as long as she's there, it's home.
Got a question up here?
Hey guys, welcome home, Todd.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I know this has been a big journey for you and Lisa Savannah. What is one thing that happened behind the scenes that maybe you want the public to know to understand?
You want to go first?
I think, obviously the biggest misconception right now is that I either paid for a pardon or slept for a pardon.
That's something I would
like, that's the big.
What? They said she slept for a pardon? Oh, y'all messy out here. I never even thought about that. That's crazy. No, that's foul.
Misconception right now. And if people knew the countless hours and the money and the time that I spent going to DC, literally with not a meeting scheduled. And I just got on a plane and went and said, I'm going to be in the right room at the right time and meet the right people. I fought hard and I was exhausted and I begged for meetings. There was nothing I was never too good to ask. And that's the thing is people think, oh, you're a celebrity, you're white, you have money, that we got an upper hand and we didn't. I had to fight and I was relentless and that's.
Girl, stop. This ain't no fighting, okay? And that's okay. All you had to do is go ask another. We're not even gonna talk about it. But what we are gonna do, me and NF are gonna collaborate, and we're gonna do a live stream talking about the food stamp situation. And you know what? It's so funny. I always watch her content. She always watches my content, but we have not collaborated yet. And I definitely want to. And I want to make that happen sometime this week. I'll let you guys know. I gotta get with her. We gotta pick out a schedule. But I'm always watching her. She always watching me, and we always both going live in the morning. Why don't we just do it together? But she did not. This ain't a real fight, girl. This ain't a real fight, but okay.
That's how it happened. Finally, people listened. So for me, that would be something that people just don't quite understand.
I think for me, watching it all unfold and listening to what she said that was coming up next, and just being consumed with pride while at the same time knowing that this is a long shot because so many people are told no. And being in the prison system, anyone that says that it's a fair shake, it's not. Because I dealt with young African-American males in the prison that I was in that were not treated the same. They were not.
Yeah, we bet you did, Todd. We bet you did, Todd. We already knew this, so we knew it was unfair. We was been trying to tell y'all this forever. But I'm glad that the other side is finally coming around to what we're talking about. And since they started throwing in celebrities that don't look like us or me, now we're gonna now we may see some reform. I don't know though, because prisons do make a lot of money. But I know one prison and one jail they do need reform, which is down there in New Orleans, where people is running out the back door. They need to fix that one.
They were denied programming. They were denied access to certain things. I was not denied that, but we know why I wasn't denied that. And so I think that is a much bigger picture that we all as a society as a whole need to look at, that we are one. And whether you're Republican, Democrat, or whatever, at the end of the day, when you're in that hospital, you don't care if it's a Democrat treating you or a Republican. Now, some of you may, but I want whoever's going to be the best person to do that. You.
Thank you. So there's no telling how many times Savannah's Instagram was refreshed yesterday with everyone looking for that glimpse of getting to see Todd.
Ina, thank you so much for coming on by. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We will see you out here in these YouTube streets. Yeah, stay humble and blessed. Humble, keyword humble. And then Eric is saying that people who work should get in, who are legal should get in. If you're legal, you shouldn't get no help. Which I agree with that. He said, I'm not heartless. I just don't think it's fair for people who work and pay taxes but can't receive any assistance. That's what I'm saying, Eric, and that's why I feel like there needs to be a lot of reform within the system or within the system. Cause it's like if you don't work, you get all the help. And then if you do work, you don't get help. It's very, very weird. And I don't know why it's set up that way. It doesn't make no sense.
And then the first time we see you live on Instagram is in Nordstrom shopping. Can you talk about that? And then were you hesitant at all for that to be the first lunch that you're shopping?
Well, we thought through our security detail that we had beaten that and that we were good to go. And what we did not realize is that there was multiple outlets that were following us, but we had interference.
So apparently they went to Nordstrom's after they had got out, and there seemed like it was like a media frenzy, and he had to run. Is what it sounds like.
With the security team, and I don't know why it's that exciting to go watch me buy underwear. I mean, it's just not. But we went in to grab a few things because of what I have an event to go to tomorrow, and then we looked up and the people in Nordstrom's coming and said, "You need to understand that the press is here. The press is here," and so I'm like, they're just wanting this one first picture, and so I said, "Go live with it." I says, and that stops them, and so that's what we did.
It did. Hey.
Go down to the front and to the back.
What do you have to say to the people who say you will take part in because of your status?
I understand it. I understand it. That's not something that you can look at and say, well, that had nothing to do with it. I don't know if it did or if it didn't, because I wasn't involved in the process. But what I can tell you is that I believe in our President of the United States, and I believe in his commitment. When he created the First Step Act, that was to help incarcerated individuals. It was not adhered to by the Department of Justice. And the entire time during the Biden administration, it was not adhered to. So to hear him say that it is now going to be adhered to and Pam Bondi is going to make sure of that, literally since Pam Bondi has stepped in, now the Bureau of Prisons have been given a directive through a new director who I have such a huge amount of faith in, William Marshall, that he is going to make sure that the First Step Act is implemented, and these men and women are going to get the credit that they're supposed to be getting. They're going to get the training and the education that they're promised, and they're going to be given a right to go back to their families in a speedier way. So
it definitely sounds like Todd is going to come out on top. This is what Big Meech should have did, in my opinion, is to become a prison reform advocate and advocate for prisoners on his behalf. I think that Todd Chrisley, the way that they're playing this right now, he is going to rebrand himself. He already has. And they, like he said, they're going back to TV. So I feel like what they are doing is actually pretty smart to become prison reform advocates, to advocate on the behalf of the prisoners and stand on business and saying that I was wrongfully convicted. They are not admitting to anything. They didn't do it. But I think that this is what Big Meat should have done when he got out of prison, is to become a prison reform advocate, talk to young people, get speaking engagements, start up a YouTube channel, and really align yourself on the right side of justice. However, when Big Meech came out of prison, he wanted to do a coming home concert with Rick Ross, and it did not go. It did not go well. And Eric said, Nordstrom's for underwear. Yeah, y'all know, that's for the uppity folks to be shopping at. Nordstrom's. Okay, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are finna get in, we're finna get into our next subject, which was Tory Lanez railroaded. We've been talking about the Meghan and Tory a lot. You already know what's going on. Eric says somebody's not here for money. Oh, but you remember what Savannah said? Savannah said that she has a podcast. I have never seen her podcast or looked it up, but if she has a podcast on a YouTube channel, she could still be making some great money off of that. And we see that she's been able to keep up with her Botox injection, so she cannot be hurting for money. And then because they have the TV, stardom, those people are able to create fan bases off of those shows that they then carry from platform to platform. And Savannah has aligned herself with the Republicans, the conservatives, which is very smart too. Very smart too. They are doing really, really great on YouTube, and and she rubbing elbows with the right people. And I don't know if she's married or if she's dating anybody, but I remember on the show, I think he was like a baseball player. She was talking to him. So look, Savannah knows how to keep this money thing going. And she got the podcast, she out there talking, and she's doing this. This is a great way to put themselves back out in the media and not really own up to $30 million. But we're never going to forget, and we're never going to let them forget, they took all that money. And another thing, they don't have to pay back any of that money.
Please hold for a very important message.
Okay, let's get into our next subject. We are going to be talking about Meghan and Tory again. I know y'all tired of hearing about it. I know. The reason we're going to talk about it again is because you know how they have that website, or they started the website 36 hours later. The videos I'm going to show you guys today are going to show you a little bit more details about the website, and we're also going to hear from different perspectives. couple of content creators reacted to it. I know y'all know who Whack 100 is. We ain't even talked about Whack over here. But one thing that Whack be doing, he know everybody business, and sometimes he does say stuff that makes sense. Sometimes it gets a little bit over the top. But what he said during this interview made a lot of sense. And Whack 100 and Tory Lanez apparently are friends and have a great relationship, and they talk. They talk. So he has some great insight on the whole situation. And we're just waiting for them to lock up Megan Thee Stallion, or we're waiting for them to let Tory out. But we haven't. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. I know one thing: if they let him out and he walks, somebody need to go right back inside. Okay, let me drop the link for the most recent video talking about. Okay, here we go. The most recent video where we talked about Tory and Megan. Yeah, we've been talking about them a lot, and it's a very interesting story. Okay, so so you guys know how they were saying that there's new footage showing that Megan lied or didn't do it, or there's just or it's not new evidence. The evidence was suppressed. And when they suppress something, that means that they don't show it in court. So a lot of us maybe didn't see it. It was suppressed. So they made sure they kept it hidden. This is the live stream we did talking about the evidence. Eric said, I ain't gonna say what I think Savannah been doing. Well, according to them, they think that she slept with somebody to get the party. Y'all know it's time for tea. Let's get into it. I don't know, but if she did, isn't that a job well done? If she did sleep with somebody to get the pardon, and her mom and her dad walk out of prison, then I think she completed the mission. But I don't think Savannah slept with somebody for the pardon. I think it's more likely that they paid for it, or that they were granted the pardon on an IOU. I don't think she slept with somebody for it, but y'all don't say what I want to say. What I've learned is that some people really don't like women like that. So no matter what, it's like we're always going to be the bad people. That's okay. That's okay. But y'all ain't right out here. And Eric, look, Savannah ain't doing with nobody else, young daughter. Well, she hasn't. One thing we can say is she got a whole bunch of kids. Some people her age will have 4 or 5 kids by now. So if she is doing something, good thing we don't hear about it and we don't see it on OS. Okay, she keeping it real, real private, which is the way that it should be. It's not our business. Okay, we're gonna hear from mediocre tutorials and reviews. In this video, he's gonna play a clip from Kelsey and also a clip from Whack 100. Okay, let me get that pulled back up.
Big shout out to the podcast, the Danza Project. Haven't actually commentated over some of their content in a little while now. It's good to see them boys over there continuing to cook. I'll leave a link to this video down in the description box down below. Guys, make sure to go check out their content. Fantastic content over there. Tell them MTR sent you. Nevertheless, they recently had on Whack 100, and it was a very interesting conversation specific to the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion conversation, okay? In it, Whack was speaking from the perspective of that he knows Tory Lanez is innocent, and he said some very interesting things that I think is appropriate for further dissection, all right? Let's get into it.
Now, Tory Lanez just got stabbed up 14 times. My brother. Tory Lanez is another one of them people when I was coming up. Like, that was one of them. The music brother, was. I talk to Tory every week. We had the only interview with Kelsey. We sat down with her. We spoke to her. She asked me a question in that interview. She said, let me ask y'all a question and flip it on y'all real quick.
It's like 45
Who do you think shot her?
And what did you say?
I was like, damn, like, I was like, don't ask me because I'm the honest one. Like, I don't know.
Who did you think shot her?
I said, you.
And what she said?
That she was like, you're entitled to your opinion. Okay. I was like, but like, based off this conversation, maybe I'm wrong, but.
See, what Tory.
I want to see that interview.
But before we get into that, I want to know, what was y'all's initial thoughts?
Oh, you really want to know my original
thoughts? Yes, I want to know. I don't care if it's I want to know what y'all thought about me.
So I'm just gonna be honest because I'm an honest person. Just so you know that I was a Tory Lanez fan, huge Tory. I am a huge Tory Lanez fan. Love his music. So I found a scapegoat. I used you as a scapegoat. I was like, I should definitely fucking let it off and shot her. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean?
I appreciate your honesty.
Those answers sound different.
You know, it's a lot of people that feel that way, I guess, but nah, that's.
It's so weird to me because she kind of favors Megan Thee Stallion. And I think it's so weird when a guy gets with two women that look alike. Like, do y'all remember when Cardi B or Offset got with another woman that looked like Cardi B? I don't know, it's just so weird to me. Hey, Coach Fry, what's going on? He said 907 G's in the messy streets. You know, it's time for tea. That's where we get into some mess. Other than that, I stay out the way. And Eric said they paid and threw Savannah favorites in as a fringe benefit. Look, I think she threw that cap the right way. If it is true about the pardons, and if she slept with somebody to get a pardon, and now her father and her mother walk free from prison, I think she threw that cat the right way. As opposed to some women getting stuck with babies and becoming single moms. Look, I'm just saying, I feel like she managed it well, if that is true. But I don't think she slept with somebody for the pardon. I think it's more likely that she paid for the pardon. That was the last story. We talking about Chrisley. Some people think that's Savannah. I think it was Savannah James, or I don't remember her last name, or Savannah Chrisley. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of LeBron James' wife. Some people are saying that she slept with somebody for the pardon. Some people are saying that they paid for it. I don't know. But in this particular video, the Danza project is interviewing Kelsey, and Kelsey asks him, "Who do you guys think shot Megan?" And he said, "I think it was you." Fast forward to today's time, everybody's saying that it was Kelsey. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Well, I know one thing: they need to hurry up and get my man out of jail, so he can come back home and make these videos, make this music. But Tory, you gotta stay out of these traps. Stop dealing with these type of women. Not saying that Kelsey is a bad person. I don't know her personally, but Megan Thee Stallion, we can look, and we can tell you, Tory, that ain't the one.
It was the easiest route for me.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, for me, it was like, I think most of the times when I hear most of these stories, and we recently spoke about Nipsey Hussle's passing, I did not believe it.
Yeah.
no matter what, it was just like, nah, he's still alive, or the story's fake. It wasn't really Nipsey. There's something else had to happen. And then the conspiracy thing, oh, it's because he was talking about Dr. Sebi. Like, we don't want to believe that somebody that we are a fan of is going out this way. You want to hope for a narrative. Somehow it's spun. I had no idea who you were.
Right.
Now, outside of the courtroom, this is the only time that I've seen her been interviewed in regards to what it is that happened. So again, kudos to them for getting this interview. I don't know if the brother was going easy on her because, you know, she granted him the interview, but damn, I would have started asking all types of.
If there was, and this is what happens a lot. A lot of these men be running their mouth and talking all this about women, and then when they get in front of the women, they they get stuck and take it easy. And that's okay. But when you was not in her face, you was talking a big game like you was so cutthroat, and I said, I think it was you. And then you can see he had a way softer answer. I'm telling y'all right now, a lot of these dudes, they be capping. They don't even have the same energy when they actually get in front of the person who they spend all their time talking about. They be in the DM, in the inbox begging. And if y'all don't want to believe it's okay, but that's why I be over here cool, calm, collected, because I know the truth. Okay?
Interrogating questions, such as, why do you need immunity if you did nothing wrong, Kelsey? All right. But I come just a little bit of slack because at this point, there wasn't the sworn testimony from her security guard letting the cat out the bag. Anyway, let's get back into the original content.
It went wrong, he didn't go wrong, is when he made that jail call and he told Kelsey that I'm sorry for everything that happened. He wasn't talking about the shooting. He talking about it. I've been sexing all y'all. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't talking about the shooting. If you paid attention, the stylist said, I packed that gun in their bag several times, right? You know, I've been telling y'all for like 6 months to a year, Tory coming back, DNA ain't his. I've been telling y'all that. People think I'm capping. You know, it's a tape out there too, but you know, the parents of the child didn't clear. But now you got the driver, security guard coming to the table saying, I witnessed her fire 3 shots. Tory jumped out, knocked the gun out of her hand. The gun went off again. But it's 2 DNA tests that says 100% not Tory Lanez, that they never submitted to the defense attorney during the trial.
And let me also comment on this, right? There's been cases that have been overturned and people found guilty of things, or they were given proof of something based off of a DNA swab that they did 30 years after the crime occurred. If they can find DNA on gun 30 years after a damn crime occurred, or DNA on a knife or something like that, and you're telling me that there was a 0.01% chance that his DNA was on the firearm and he's still behind bars right now, to me is absolutely absurd. But let's keep going.
His confidence through it said a lot to me. Like, he wasn't just regular confident. He's like, I think I could share my opinion, right? I'm an outsider. I always thought that Tory didn't want the label snitch. And he also knew that he did wrong in the fact of I fucked her and I fucked her too. So I ain't trying to do it. I'll be cleared because my shit ain't on that gun.
What's wrong with that?
And he was like, let's see what happens.
That's it.
And he got caught.
Yeah, he was like, when the law does its thing, they gonna see it wasn't me. But they railroaded him.
Please, you know this is what I don't like about Tory. Tory, you know you're a black man. How much justice do you really think there are for black people out here? Huh? And you're not from here, you came over here and made all of this money? Bro, you should have known they was trying to throw you away. But he was just so cocky and so confident, which I don't even know why. Because anybody that grew up in America, we know at the end of the day, when we look like us, there is no real justice for us. And at the time that this was going on, the Me Too movement was going on, you know, so like, I don't know what Tory was thinking. He just thought he was too cool for school.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they tell Tory that he don't like women.
Citizenship and all
Yeah,
that.
he saved a woman's life, Megan, from being killed, and then he stopped a mother from going to jail, Kelsey, right? But talking to Tory when he was in there, he said, "Whack."
But see, the problem was Tory was trying to save these hoes, in my opinion. You can't, these are 304s through and through. Why are you trying to stand on business to some no good people? The whole thing didn't make sense.
Everything happened for a reason. I'm a Canadian dude in a penitentiary in California, but yet I've been able to help dozens of men get back to court on appeals on cases they've been railroading. He said, I think I'm the sacrificial lamb. I was the one needed to come back to this place to help these people who probably need to be free more than me. He said, I
do think that part is dope. And we talked about it a little bit last week, where Tory Lanez was helping people with their appeals because he had all that money. He was helping out the prison, and he was doing a lot of good. And that's why, hey, Shicey, how you doing? He was doing a lot of good, but that's also what made him a target, I believe. But it's dope that he was in there helping people. But look, Tory, they don't want you to help people. They don't want you to help people. Like how you were telling everybody about how you cracked the code on the industry and how you was making all this money. They don't want you to help people. They don't. So you got to be careful with that too, because I think that definitely played a part in the whole situation. They don't want you helping people. What? Shanti said, at this point, I think Megan needs to sue Tory. Sue Tory for what? What? Sue him for what? For defamation of character? I never heard that one. I mean, Megan already won this one if you think about it. Tory is locked in jail in prison. Now you're going to sue him on top of that? Come on, y'all. Y'all trying to bury him. Okay, slander and defamation. But what can she prove that he lied about? Is my thing. And Tory can say, I'm not even saying anything about you. I'm in prison. That's my legal team. And Eric said Tory Lanez should have a lot of material now. If he gets out, he should have at least 3 albums. Yeah, and he's putting out albums from or I don't know if he's doing albums or songs. I do think that when Tory Lanez does get out, I think he's going to be able to rebrand himself. And I don't know if he'll be on the charts like he was, but he might need to move out of the US if possible. Okay, so Tory or Megan needs to sue Tory for slander and defamation. But don't you think she slandered and defamed him if he actually didn't shoot her? So, but we're gonna see how it's all gonna play out. But in this video, Wack is pretty much saying that Tory Lanez is helping the prisoners on appeals, and Tory Lanez feels like he is the sacrificial lamb, and that he was put in prison to help people. Is what he thinks his goal is. And then in one of his songs I heard, he was saying that he'd be putting hits out on people he was running to jail. The man that allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez said the reason why he stabbed him is because he didn't want Tory to get to him first. And he also heard that Tory was going to put a hit out on his life. Tory did say he was putting hits out on people, is what I will say. And Shicey said, well, he was found guilty by his peers. Yes, he was found guilty by his peers. But a lot of people think that he was railroaded, and then that case was actually done wrong because there was not DNA evidence that he actually held the gun. There was no bullets fragment recovered, and they feel like Megan has been lying. And they feel like Kelsey should not have gotten immunity, and there were a lot of shady dealings with that. So people feel like, yes, he was found guilty, but he was railroaded, is what they're saying. And I'm wondering what y'all think. Y'all think Tory was railroaded and they set him up? They feel like the DA had some people, Shicey said, what people? He was found with gunpowder. Shicey. Yes, that may have been what was going on then, but the congresswoman that came out the other day said that there was 0.00 evidence that Tory's DNA was on the gun. And so now people are looking at all the evidence. Shai said that would mean the doctor was lying about the bullet fragments. They now cannot find the bullet fragments. And I don't know if the doctor was lying, but when you convict somebody in a court of law, normally there's evidence, scientific evidence. Where are the bullet fragments? Why his DNA was not on the gun? And then there was some videos shown in court. There also were a lot of videos that were suppressed. And there's a website 36 hours later, and it has a lot of the suppressed evidence on there. And by looking at the evidence, it do look like, okay, this is why they want to suppress this. So, but right now we're listening to Whack 100 give his opinion on the subject, and he's talking about Tory Lanez wanting to help people and being the sacrificial lamb.
Although I'm locked up, I still make millions of dollars. I'm still cool. My kids are still taken care of. But some of these men in here, family won't be good unless they're there. So he figured like maybe I was placed here. I know I'm going to get out before the 10, but maybe I was placed here to help some people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Shicey said the gun came back inconclusive. That means it was too much DNA on the gun to pinpoint. Exactly. They're saying if the gun could not pinpoint who did it, then why did he get arrested or why did he get sentenced? Is what people are saying. And when I say people, I'm talking about social media. The congresswoman's in on it. Everyone's giving their opinions. And they think that's Tory innocent. And he was railroaded. So I don't know, but I know one thing. I'm reporting on it. I'm wanting to know y'all opinions. Shicey sound like she feel like Megan needs to sue Tory, and it sounds like you feel like Tory did it. One thing I would say, it seems like the men want to free Tory, and the women want to lock Tory up.
Look friends that know I'm a huge Tory Lanez fan, and they're not Tory Lanez fans, and they hit me with the if people really with Tory in there, he got stabbed up 14 times. His people would have looked out for him. They don't care about him. If it was some beef, they got it cleared, and his people set him up.
No. That shit came from up higher up. That wasn't no prison shit. That wasn't no yard shit. That wasn't none of that.
Who was that from?
His appeal was already in. Friday, the defense attorney turns in the statement of the dude identifying Kelsey as a shooter. And Monday, he get hit by a dropout.
Crazy.
Let me tell
you. Y'all, but they're making some big allegations here. They do not believe that Tory Lanez was just randomly shanked up, stabbed up in prison. They feel like Megan's people, Megan's team, put the hit out on Tory, and they feel like they did it because they knew that the evidence saying that it was Kelsey, they knew that an article was going to be published, I think it was in the New York Times, saying that Tory was innocent. And that is when he got shanked up. That is what Whack 100 is saying in this particular clip. That is also what the Congresswoman, Tory Lanez's father, and his legal team thinks. I showed you guys a press conference when we heard the lawyer say the same thing Wack has just said. So they feel like it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't no jailhouse politics. They feel like it was Megan's team. Now, the guy that actually did the stabbing came out and said he did it because Tory was going to put a hit out on him. And he wanted to get there first. So I don't know the truth, but what I want to do here is bring out every angle, every scenario, every thought, and see what y'all think. But that's Wack 100 story. A lot of people don't even like Wack, and sometimes Wack do be talking crazy, but sometimes when you say stuff, it does make sense. I don't know if this is what happened. I don't know. But it's an interesting perspective. And like I said, I'll be watching everybody on YouTube. I want to hear what everybody has to say. Tracy say it's a pattern. The men deny abuse allegations every time. I'll say this. I low-key agree with you, Shicey, because when Cassie came out with her allegations on Diddy, it was a money grab. He didn't do it. He didn't do that to that woman. She just wanted the money. And then we saw the hotel footage when Diddy was up in there whooping on Cassie. After that, everybody got quiet. So I kind of agree with you in that situation. But I don't know if Tory did or didn't do it, but it's a crazy story. And it just keeps getting more and more dramatic. Now we're seeing the politician get in on it. We hear from Amber Rose. Like it's just very interesting. And it's like I said, Wack is like Jaguar writes me, always knows everything and nobody and never around nobody. Yeah. That is very true, Shicey. It's like they're like the eagle in the sky or the eye in the sky. Like Jaguar White is another name too. They was talking crazy about her. And then when the proof came out, she got to respect. She got to respect. But let's see what else Wack has to say. He feels like it was Megan's team.
Tell you something, that's a level 3 penitentiary. You have a gun tower, you got 2 correctional officers on the floor. When each wing is unlocked, in order to hit that dude 14 times, it should have been 2 or 3 people on him. It was 1 person on him. The gun tower never shot. There was no correctional officers on the floor. Nobody was there all of a sudden. You right? So I'm listening to Tory dad talking. I believe Tory's covered because most people, he got his lungs punctured. Yeah. There's a tape that will be coming out. I had somebody watch the tape that's in there that gave me a description of what they was watching. No.
I actually did see the footage of when Tory was stabbed in prison. It was kind of hard to see because it was like, I don't know, it was like, not good quality camera. It all happened very quickly. And one thing I did notice is that wasn't nobody around. I don't know what that was, but we see from the 10 inmates that I said that New Orleans, these jails is not being watched like that. Y'all stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. That's the best thing you can do. Stay out of trouble.
Another correctional officer, I got a homeboy that worked in one institution, called one of his partners that watched the tape.
The tape came out.
Grabbed Tory's hoodie and started hitting him. Only thing saved Tory's life is he slid out the hoodie. Grab your hoodie.
Quick thinking.
And when he slid out of it, he started running and dude was chasing, hitting him. And by that time, correctional officers showed up. Think about it. So where was they all? Where were the COs at when it kicked off?
Mark over there sweating, boy. I don't know if he's telling the truth or he's lying. He over there swaying. But one thing I will say is I got one ring light on me right now. These lights do make you hot. They probably got a lot of lights over there, but he's sweating like he in the South. Yeah. And he bald headed. And sis said a lot of jails don't have enough guards. Yeah. And a lot of times, if you guys have you guys ever heard this? A lot of times I've heard that the inmates run the prisons. The inmates run the prisons because they're outnumbered. And I had a former police officer up here to react to the New Orleans inmates that escaped. In this interview, I'm gonna share the video with you guys. Shout out to Truth Teller 14. He is an ex-cop. Oh, okay, I said it wrong. Former cops reacts to 10 New Orleans inmates escaping. During this interview, or it was more like a collaboration, not really an interview, he gave us an inside perspective of what it means to be law enforcement. And during this collaboration, he actually said that a lot of times there really aren't that many guards, and they're only doing it for a job. And he gave a lot of insight about law enforcement from an inside perspective. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I have never met y'all know black people we don't really like the police. Let's just keep it real here. We do not like the police. But I am so glad that he came up and gave us that inside scoop. Just very, very great conversation. Great live stream. Y'all got to go check it out. But he pretty much is saying the same thing as Toya. A lot of these jails don't have enough guards. A lot of people are in it for the check. He also stated that within the prison system and the jail system, those COs know the inmates a lot of times. He was saying that sometimes when you're a guard, you can see people that you went to high school with. You can see so-and-so's baby daddy. So it could have also been possible that the guards knew somebody that made them step away from that floor at the time. This is all alleged, but I'm just saying. It was a great interview, great insight. Let's get back into this video. Whack 100 is up here swaying like a stripper in church. Y'all remember that saying? Yeah. He up here swaying, boy, but let's get back into what he's saying.
Was everybody at? You know what I mean? So, he survived it. I don't believe they'll send him back to the penitentiary.
Okay.
I believe if done right, they'll release him probably with an ankle monitor to fight his appeal. Going back to LA County is a threat. You know what I mean? Because if that DA, that case is overturned, Tory's case then becomes case law, case study.
Oh,
and everybody that DA's convicted could come down on the appeal.
Oh.
Now we're talking about $1 billion lawsuit.
Essentially what he's saying is that he...
Okay, so y'all remember when during the press conference I showed y'all with Tory's legal team, and the guy who wanted to write the op-ed in the newspaper, when he stepped up, he happened to be a black man. He said that he felt like the DA that oversaw this case at the time and was the DA of California was crooked. It's pretty much what he was alleging. I'm just paraphrasing, but he pretty much said he crooked and he got something to do with all this. So now what WAC 100 is saying, if that comes out and Tory Lanez is able to overturn his case will then become case law, and a bunch of prisoners will follow suit in getting their cases overturned too. And he's saying that this could be $1 billion lawsuit. And y'all know California has been in the media a lot. California is struggling and they ain't got no money. So do you think that they want Tory Lanez to overturn his case? Do y'all think that? You think they want him to be helping other people in prison and then helping people on the outside learn how to make money without a record deal? No, they don't. And Wack thinks that that is why they're trying to get Tory up out of here. Let's get back into the video. Let's see what MTR has to say.
Believes that the DA had something to do with Tory because of what's at play here. If it gets overturned on appeal, it could become case law. And if you worked on that team, you don't want those type of eyes. Case law, they're going to use you as an example of perhaps corruption, right? Or even not even that. Maybe as an example of incompetence. But the thing that Wack is pointing out is essentially just too many coincidences. So he was up for appeal and then got poked up that very next week. That don't make no damn sense. It could be that there's other forces at play here. I just hope, and as I say this, I know that this won't happen, call it a pipe dream, that the people responsible for putting him away for that amount of time get their just due. They receive to them the same things that happened to Tory while in prison. Shout out to Megan, the lying male horse. Let's go.
Yeah, that's.
So as y'all can tell, MCR is one of those people who is for the men. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's a man. He's supposed to be for the men. I like MTR. He's very funny to me. But so you guys can see that Tory Lanez, his whole case is just, it seems so insignificant, but on the grander scale of things, it is pretty serious. And so Wack feels like they put this hit out on him because they didn't want the Kelsey thing to come out, because they don't want his story to become case law, because they don't want the corruption in California to be shown. And MTR said, shout out to Megan, the line male horse eyes. That's funny. That's funny, y'all. You know, Stallion is a male horse, so people think it's kind of weird.
It's worth getting rid of somebody.
Yeah, right.
We are in America. Underestimate nothing.
Do you think that there's going to be some retaliation inside of that prison?
Definitely. That's just how they go.
Yeah.
The dude that did it, when he gets to the shoe program, they're going to take his life because he didn't complete the task.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, with all that is going on inside of that prison, obviously for Tory Lanez, do you feel like he'll be received well when he comes home? Like, do you think
what?
Oh, yeah.
He ain't never have to rap again if you don't want to.
Yeah.
He got a movie, he got a series, his music, he got a movement. Tory Lanez been already setting up companies while he's been there.
Wow.
You know,
still working.
They Meg gonna have to pay him. Everybody gonna have to pay him.
So you think Meg would ever get to a place where she could apologize to?
Like, nah, she's not gonna apologize. But one thing we can say about Tory is that he is a very good businessman. And even throughout this whole, situation, and even while he was going through the trial, some of the work that he had already done will carry him through. And I feel like with this influx of, I'll say, opinions and this whole Free Tory Lanez movement, everyone is really rooting for Tory. As far as a lot of the celebrities, they seem like they're all rooting for Tory. And Megan is taking that as, if you're for Tory, then you're against me. And that's how she feels. That's what it's looking like.
To him for all this shit that happened?
Oh, hell no.
You think that the labels are intervening?
Rock Nation takes a hit. They only guilty of supporting their client. Yeah, that's a fact that I think Meg will get to a point where she'll issue an apology. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Meg even knows what happened that night.
Yeah, same. I don't think so.
She was at a level of intoxication that she blacked out.
She has no idea.
She thinks this is what happened.
Yeah, I don't think she really knows. You know what I'm saying? So we seen her lie. She lied on Gail's show. You know what I'm saying?
She's a liar.
And I believe she's gonna break down, cry, and issue an apology.
I don't think
But
so.
that ain't gonna stop Tory from owning her catalog and everything.
Right.
She got.
It's
Get her.
5-7 years from now. When everything kind of cools down, she's gonna do it.
So they are predicting that Tory Lanez will own her catalog. And I would just say this: there is not, besides Big Ol' Freak, and I like that song. There is not much diversity, I feel, in her catalog. But what she has been able to do is top the charts, unite the 304s, and create a whole movement out of it. It's a whole lot of booty shaking going on in that catalog. So they're predicting that Tory Lanez is going to get out of prison and will own Megan Thee Stallion's catalog, which I wouldn't even want Megan Thee Stallion catalog. The kids gonna come out twerking. And Toy said Meg owns her catalog. But what they're saying, Toya, is that when Tory Lanez gets out, they feel like Megan is gonna have to, face some consequences. And they feel like somehow Tory Lanez is gonna end up owning her catalog and a lot of other stuff. That's what they saying, Toya. I'm saying Megan's catalog in like 20 years, I don't think it's gonna age good. It's not gonna be like a Rick Ross, where he has timeless music. It's not gonna be a Drake catalog, but that's my opinion. A lot of people absolutely love her music and but she ain't gonna be able to perform them songs at 50 or 60. Like, we're not gonna want to see the same tired booty shaking in 30 years. Like, but I did like the first song she came out with, and then when she got to all the other songs, like, okay, I'm tired of hearing the same message. And then what if she gets married? Anybody that marries Megan Thee Stallion, you gonna get what you gonna get. You gonna be like I think his name is Party Fonte, making diss tracks. Anybody that chooses to marry Megan, you get what you gonna get. And Sis says she would have to sell it herself. What they're saying is that they think Tory Lanez is gonna get out, and Megan is going to lose a lot of her fan base and maybe even lose money. And they predict Tory's gonna end up owning her catalog. Let me slide it back so you can hear that again, Toya. This is what they're saying. Then this is why they're thinking about it. They're saying it. Okay, let me go back.
Yeah, that's a fact that I think Meg will get to a point where she'll issue an apology. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Meg even knows what happened that night.
Yeah, same. I don't think so.
She's at a level of intoxication that she blacked out.
She has no idea.
She thinks this is what happened.
Yeah, I don't think she really knows. You know what I'm saying? So we seen her lie. She lied on Gail's show. You know what I'm saying?
She's a liar.
And I believe she's gonna break down, cry, and issue an apology.
I don't think so.
But that ain't gonna stop Tory from owning her catalog and everything.
Right. Get her.
5-7 years from now. When everything kind of cools down, she's gonna do a sit down 60 minutes.
The hate Tory got for what they thought he allegedly did, she won't get half that hate for railroading that band for saying he did something he didn't do. That's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in.
Ooh,
that made my blood boil just
I'm ready for him to come home, man. I feel like
listen, it can make your blood boil
inevitably,
but you got to think about the world that we live in right now and what is allowed to occur, right? That's why, I take a look at platforms such as myself that fights for the truth, right? Doubles down into the results that people are getting within their life, takes a look at their behavior to determine
Okay, so that is why they're saying that. They feel like Megan's like top of the charts. She's doing good now, but they feel like it may change when Tory actually gets out, and it is proven that Megan is lying. I'm not sure. We have to just wait and see. Let's go see if there's more that he says.
Yeah. And shout out to my boy Speedy, because my boy Speedy from Hard Time Hustle, that's his brother, and he really took this hard. You know what I'm saying? And he's still taking it hard. That's his brother. Like, he loved him to death. So shout out to my man Speedy. Yeah, you know, every step of the way, Speedy been there. That's why all that talking about the people turned on him wasn't gonna happen. You had too many people in place that was there with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some real people behind those walls that was making sure things was good. But, you know, when something high above you send a torpedo, you know, and employed the mailman, you know what I'm saying?
I get out the way.
You get what I'm saying?
I don't want to get into that, but a lot of people are saying it's Rock Nation, Rock Nation, Rock
Nation.
Nation.
Nothing to do with Rock Nation. Rock Nation don't give a about no case study. You know, Rock Nation, all they're gonna do is go into damage control for their client. You know, for Rock, if you find Rock Nation guilty, then I'm guilty for showing up to Blueface trials. That's what they're supposed to do. That's their client. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so they didn't do nothing that what they supposed to do.
They're
Not
just
show
protecting
up
their property.
support.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is the LA County case. You know, if they're saying Rock Nation got influence over the DA's office, then that's kind of a reach.
Can they turn on the AC in there?
Now,
Wack struggling.
First up,
Bro, tell me why I was thinking the same thing. That man is about to melt. Do y'all think Wack 100 going through menopause? You know how you be having them hot flashes? He said, can y'all turn on the AC up in there? Wack is struggling. Everybody else look. That guy right there is not sweating. The other dude not sweating. Now Wack, he perspirating. He having a hot flash. Did y'all moms ever have hot flashes? They're like, what is that? And out of nowhere, they be wiping their forehead, they be fanning themselves. But the hot flashes just come suddenly. And it looked like Wack is going through a hot flash or something. He got something going on. Maybe he was drinking some liquor in the back. You know how when you drink liquor, you start sweating. Bro, but you know what? When you go on the internet, they gonna pull apart the videos. Like, let me show y'all. Okay. I got my eyebrows done this weekend, right on Saturday. And then right after that, I did a live stream. Tell me why y'all see my eyebrows? I got my eyebrows done. And they was like, we see you got your eyebrows done and now you look permanently happy. I'm like, bro, I just got them done like an hour ago. People be watching these videos, okay? They be looking. And if you out here perspiring, you sweating, you gonna notice it. But they be looking on these videos. And I was like, well, what's wrong? If I want to look permanently happy, what's wrong with that? Y'all should be mad. Y'all should be happy I didn't make my eyebrows into little lines where I look angry all the time. But Wax is over here perspiring. He's struggling, and it's almost distracting to even watch the interview because all you can see is Wax sweating. But I say this to say that they be watching these videos, they be watching the background, and then somebody. Okay, so I have these kitchen curtains, but my kitchen curtains don't go all the way down to the window because the dimensions they wrong. And so someone was like, "Do you have kids? Why are your curtains like that?" I'm like, "Bro, there's nothing wrong with my curtains, but can you focus on what I'm saying?" People be watching the background.
Appreciate you for coming through straight from Colombia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I really wanted this interview to happen because, again, there's like so much misinformation that be going on the internet, and then people kind of like size us up for being the wrong people. When really, I really am just a good dude that be having. I decided to open up a platform because I wanted to sit
what
down
it
and
is,
talk
I
to
think
people.
you giving another perspective. You feel like it's 100 podcasts out there that's gonna ask the radical crazy shit. So I think your approach is trying to get into the deeper emotional side of a situation when it comes to a person. That's probably your approach. So I get it. It's like that's your way of being different. It's a lot of people it's a lot of traffic out there. So you like it's my lane. I can cross over there, but everybody's over there.
Yeah. Now, with somebody like yourself, you're such a polarizing figure. I'm sure that part of you, one of the things that I keep saying and I've always said is I would hate to actually be a celebrity. Like, I like the J-list celebrity I am at right now.
I don't consider myself,
facts.
But I don't move like that. I don't consider myself that. Like, people know me, they be like, yeah, bro, he don't be on that. Like today, my wife said she wanted some canes or whatever.
Yeah, so you gotta go.
Right? So I go over there. I walk in, the whole kids looking at me. Oh, how y'all doing? They said, oh, you whack 100? And I'm like, yeah. Can we get a picture? I'm like, yeah, cool. They like, yo, man, you cool as where all your people at? I said, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? I don't forget why none of my people. You got some real people over there behind me. That's some real individuals that come on some real shit. You know what I'm saying? That got real plugs and real reach, but we all move normal. Like, we don't let that get to our head because the people are saying you this or that. That's it.
And one thing Wack also don't do is wear a whole bunch of jewelry. Cause y'all be out here making yourself look like some licks. Walking around with all that jewelry. Go around like a regular person. You don't gotta do all that and diamonds and grills. It's not even necessary. But you gotta go out here like a regular person. If you're not looking like a regular person, like Wack, I would not advise you to be walking down to your local grocery store or your local, food place if you're gonna be walking around looking all blinged out. Cause that's how you gonna end up getting robbed, shot, and some other stuff. But that is Wack's perspective on everything that's going on. He feels like Tory's gonna get out, he's gonna be vindicated, and that he's gonna end up owning Megan's catalog. My sis said Megan owns her own catalog and she would have to sell it. Now, at this point in time, Megan is doing really good in her career. But what if things take a turn for the worse and she starts losing money and has to sell her catalog to Tory or to somebody? But that's what they think is going to happen. I don't know. I'm just here to tell you about it. Okay, the next video that I'm going to play for you guys is going to be Anton Daniels reacting to the whole Megan situation. But before we get into that, I'll play this video for y'all so y'all know where we're at. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Please hold for a very important message.
Okay, let's get into it. So, the question is was Tory Lanez railroaded? Some people feel like he was, some people feel like he wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I will say that all the evidence that was suppressed, some of the things that happened during the trial, do look kind of shady. And if Tory Lanez was my brother or my cousin, I would be mad too. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll be mad. So we're gonna get into Anton Daniels reacting to Megan Thee Stallion, and Anton Daniels and MCR are pro man, so just take it as you will. And if I play videos from women who were pro-woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think it's good to watch everybody's perspective and then somewhere in the middle kind of conclude your own perspective. Okay, let's get the fair use up here. Mm-mm.
Into the show is Meg Thee Stallion. I know we talked about it a little bit last night, but I had an opportunity to go through this website, right? And it's called 36 Hours Later. And apparently it's a site that Tory Lanez team is putting together so that they could get a petition, get visibility, and also have a conversation around getting people petitioning Gavin Newsom and calling for and bringing more visibility to Tory Lanez. Now, I have always, from the beginning, said that I'll remain neutral, but I did not believe anybody. And I said it last night. I don't believe anything that anybody say unless they teach me different. By default, I'm always going to err on the side of caution. And so when people keep telling me to believe all women or Anton, you need to go ahead and do this and all of this other type of stuff, and people was calling for Meg locking.
Right. See, sometimes Anton be going a little rants. That's okay though. Let's get past it.
A lot of shit wrong. He get a lot of shit wrong.
Okay, still going. Okay, the truth uncovers suppressed evidence proves Tory Lanez is
You up
innocent.
until you said that part. And the reason that I was filling him up until you said that part is because it turns right into pandering, and we don't actually let the justice system, or we don't look at the evidence. We just automatically just go where we indoctrinated to try to continue to build the female audience. And now all of the females is out there saying stuff like, yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know why y'all won't listen to him. Men need to get it together. No, two things can be true at the same time. Yes, we are always going to have our own battles. We always going to have things we need to work on. Yes, we are always in a growth mindset. Yes, you are always going to have men that are the piece of shits, but that's not the majority of men. Cool. We've been talking about men for the last 1 million years. How are we not going to sit here and hold a conversation about the fact that Meg Thee Stallion is sitting here advocating for a man to stay in jail and he got stabbed 14 times, and you skip over that part? You skip over that part. Yeah.
And this is exactly what this trial or what this case has done. It has really ignited the gender wars times 10, because people already feel like they're on one side of, team man or team woman. And this case right here really shows you how divided it can become. And the men feel like Megan needs to be locked up immediately. The women feel like Megan Thee Stallion is innocent, and you guys heard Shicey Bum. She says Megan needs to sue Tory for slander and defamation of character. So this situation has, really sparked both sides, really got everybody in their feelings.
They did. Check it out. Check out everything that's on his website. So they go in, they go with the pictures, the drawings of when she testified. They got everything on here. They got the fact checklist. They said, check it out. Meg told the police and doctors that she stepped on glass and didn't get shot, which was obviously, it brings into credibility the person that is accusing, right? Video and officers confirmed Meg Thee Stallion stepped on a glass bottle, not hit by gunfire. 2 women fought in the street. 1 fired first. Tory was still in the car. Kelsey tested positive for gunshot residue. Her DNA was never tested for the gun. Now, some people will say, well, why isn't Kelsey the one that's going down? Because Kelsey was granted immunity in order to try to testify against Tory Lanez, and they didn't get it the way that they wanted it to, but they still convicted him. Kelsey received free rent for a year after the shooting, and who paid and why? EJ said an object in the girl's luggage looked like a...
Wait, what? Kelsey got 1 year of rent? What? And I bet you she stayed in one of them expensive places. Yeah, that's kind of Okay, so this Shots' website. Okay, Megan claims she spoke out in response to Tory, but the timeline proves she went public first. Tory's DNA was not found on the magazine, only 0.01 on the gun. Statistically irrelevant. 90% of the DNA on the gun belonged to an unknown male, not Tory. Tory's jail call apology was about the drama of sleeping with two friends, not a shooting. You guys remember there's reports alleging that Tory was sleeping with both women. And it's saying that that's what he was really apologizing for on that jailhouse call. Tory had reportedly said, I would never do anything like this. No bullet fragments on x-ray. No nerve damage, fractures, or trauma joint in Megan's medical records. Now that's a weird one. Bullet fragments were lost, never presented at trial. Prosecutors misused Tory rap lyrics, tattoos, and uncharged allegations to sway the jury. So it was just a lot of inconsistencies. And on this website, they pretty much put all the inconsistencies together.
She spoke out in response to Tory, but the timeline proves she went to the public first. Tory's DNA was not found on the magazine, and only a 0.1% on the gun, statistically irrelevant. 90% of the DNA on the gun belonged to an unnamed male, not Tory. Tory's jail call apology was about the drama of sleeping with two friends, not a shooting. Yeah, I remember that because they tried to make it seem like he was apologetic about the shooting. That wasn't what it was. They made that out to be something different. Tory has repeatedly said, I would never do anything like this. No bullet fragments on an x-ray, no nerve damage, fractures, or joint trauma. And Megan's medical records, bullet fragments were lost, never presented at trial. How? Prosecutors misused Tory's rap lyrics, tattoos, and uncharged allegations to sway the jury. Kelsey's story changed multiple times. She admitted to lying under pressure. Megan's own timeline and injuries don't match the shooting. And there's more to that. They got all kind of stuff on here.
And this is the footage that we actually went over together on live, and I believe it was during this episode. Let me get that put up. Yes, we actually went over this footage and we talked about how calm Megan was during this incident. Some people are feel like she was calm because she was kind of still in shock, or she was kind of calm because she was scared, or so there's just, I feel like this. Whoever side you're on, you're going to see everything from them as being justified because you're going to make up a reason. And if you think that he is innocent, you're going to feel like everything Megan is doing is a lie or is sketchy. Okay, so this is a live stream where we went through the footage together here on live.
Do you think we're gonna go to jail? What's that? Do you think we're gonna go to jail? I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out. As long as you guys cooperate with us and you guys tell us what happened, we'll go accordingly, okay? But if you guys are not telling us, you guys are, then I really cannot go to jail. Okay.
Team Flames, I'm gonna address you shortly. Give me a second.
I cannot have that on my image. Okay. So how did that happen to you? Glass? Where? Where we were coming from. Hey, go get a sheet or but I'm not from here, so okay. That the only place you got shot at? That's the only place you got shot? I didn't get shot. Oh, you did it?
She clearly just said that the way that she got injured is glass. And then she also just said that she didn't get shot. Now, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Then later on, Megan, like I think a week later, came out and said that she did get shot and she thinks that it was Tory. And she is alleging that the reason why, when they first asked her why she said she wasn't shot, is because she was scared and she didn't want anybody to go to jail. And then she came out later pointing and blaming Tory Lanez and saying that it was him and that she did get shot. So there's been a lot of like controversy about the claims and if they were actually true or not because of the way everything happened.
She literally just said that she said to the police officers, to the EMT, to the people that was on the scene, she said, I didn't get shot. She didn't think about it. She wasn't coached into it. Nobody told her what to say. She said it's glass and I didn't get shot. Now, I'm going to take you at your word. She also went on Gayle King and said, listen, I never slept with Tory Lanez. And then she came back on her documentary and said, yeah, I slept with Tory Lanez. What are y'all looking for? What else do y'all want? What else do y'all want from it? Look, there it is.
I never put my hands on anybody. I never raised my voice too loud. Like, this was one of them times where it was like,
okay, we know that Megan is lying because her and Kelsey got into a whole fist fight. So we know that she's lying. People feel like, yes, there may have been things that she lied about, but overall, she told the truth on Tory. This is why I feel like any statements that you make need to be made with the help of a legal team. I would not advise you to go out, and that's probably why, that's one of the reasons why, when you have an open case, they advise you to not talk about it. Because some of the statements that you make publicly could actually hurt your case. So Megan said, I never put my hands on nobody, never raised my voice. So it's like she wants us to believe that she's so innocent and out of nowhere she's got shot.
it shouldn't have got this crazy.
It shouldn't have escalated to the way that it did.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. Yes. And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, dance. He started shooting. And
okay, that is the famous lie that she, well, I don't know if it was a lie or the allegation she made. He said, dance, be dance, and shot at her feet. That's what Megan is saying. That's what she's been saying the whole time. And she's also alleging that she didn't put her hands on nobody.
She didn't get into a fight. None of that stuff happened. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. She didn't get into a fight. None of that stuff. They got the statements. They got everything on here.
In the car, shooting from the car, Megan?
He is standing up over the window, shooting.
Ain't Tory Lanez like 5'3"?
Now that was a little bit crazy that she made that type of allegation that he was standing over the car shooting. Because Tory Lanez is actually little. And I think it was like an SUV. So I don't know. And it's like, Megan, did you just make up a night? I don't know. I am not sure.
He's standing up over the car shooting. What? I don't even understand what. Come on, bro. Everything, literally, every single thing that she said is a lie. Everything she came back and changed the story, recanted. If the only thing that you can use, because it wasn't any evidence that was presented in the trial that would lead to him being convicted and then him having to serve 10 years in prison, right? So that means that the only testimony, because Kelsey didn't never say anything that would convict him. So if the only testimony that you have is a woman saying that, yep, I'll change my story and I want him to be convicted and thrown in prison in the court of law, then come on, man. Come on, fam. Come on, bro. This is crazy.
Why would I lie? You want me to be a bad person so bad, and y'all motherfuckers want to believe the lie before you believe the truth.
They got so many clips. They got stuff that's altered. This is crazy.
And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, dance.
So they got all of this stuff. They got Ring camera footage of the shot audio. This is insane, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go. I've been looking for that Ring footage, trying to figure out, because everybody keeps telling me about it.
They said she went to the club with an ace bandage on her left foot despite claiming to have been shot in both feet.
Do you want to talk about what happened tonight? Your girl to safety?
Address that the incident occurred, the shooting happened?
Nah, I don't know the address, bro. I was just trying to help my girlfriend.
Okay, she did say that Tory shot at both feet. So if she only has a bandage on one foot, it don't make no sense. But see, this is why they say when you tell a lie, you're gonna have to keep lying. This is why. This is what they talking about. You know, you gotta keep going with the lie, and this is getting more and more outlandish.
1 second.
Bro. Stay right here for me, bro. Hey, we got an ambulance coming for her, okay? Hey, bro, step up right here. We got an ambulance coming for her, all right?
Just a quick question.
It's gonna be good.
Have any injuries on you?
No, I don't.
Do you need an R?
I'll come for your friend now, okay?
How she said that they wasn't even in a romantic relationship. He's saying that there was a girlfriend, boyfriend. So, anyways, if y'all want to come on, check out the site yourself, y'all more than willing to do so. It's called 36 Hours Later. That's the name of the site. 36 Hours Later.
So what happened was you were just one ball stick on the left. I just stepped on gas the other day. So you were already hurt when you got to the ambulance. And then at that point, you're trying to see or running down and
They also mad at Amber Rose too.
So remember when we were talking about the Congresswoman, and the Congresswoman said herself that like she was made aware of this case by Amber Rose, and that's what drew her attention to it. And so now, according to AD, they got it after Amber Rose. So he's gonna play a video of the Amber Rose situation. We're gonna see what's going on with it.
All right, joining me now, influencer, TV personality, musical muse, Amber Rose, and now social justice advocate. Amber, thank you. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. What do you want people to know about why you are advocating for Tory Lanez?
I'm advocating for Tory Lanez because the evidence shows that he's innocent, and he deserves to be pardoned by Governor Gavin Newsom. You know, he's 100% exonerated from the gun, and for that alone, he should be home with his family.
Well, the DNA showed that it could have been any of 4 people, but he sent the text apologizing, and Megan Thee Stallion and her friend Kelsey there that night said it was him.
Why y'all hating on Amber Rose right now? Listen, if y'all want to hate, if y'all want to get mad at Amber Rose and say, hey, I don't like the fact that she got a tattoo on her head, or, you know, I don't like the fact that she came up or she famous or anything like that, that's one thing. But E-Love, how gay are you? How gay are you? This don't even have anything to do with Amber Rose. The only thing that she's talking about is the fact that she's advocating. Okay, so y'all finally.
So, but you know what? Some of them don't like women, so it's just don't. No matter what, they're not a problem. They're going to have a problem.
You don't have to necessarily care for her past, but that don't have anything to do with whether or not she's right and she's advocating for the right thing. I feel you, Molly. I feel you. So she finally, somebody is standing up amidst all of the women that we say, hey, how come y'all don't ever hold men down? How come y'all don't ever advocate for men? She finally picked the issue. I think she picked multiple issues. Amber Rose been on the right side of history.
Look, yeah, he's right. They say, why don't women hold men down? She holding this man down, and they coming for her. Look, ladies, it don't matter what you do. There is going to be a problem. Just live your life. Because y'all can see Amber Rose is helping the men, and they still got a problem with it. It's crazy.
Over the last year or so. Straight up. I'm just going to be objective. Amber Rose been on the right side of history for over a year or so. You finally got somebody to say, you know what? I stand with Tory. The evidence shows, she didn't say this is how I feel. She said the evidence shows that he's innocent and you feeling some type of way about it. Oh man, she just want another 15 minutes. Nigga, what you want? What you want, Meg to give you a cookie? Y'all kill me with this Superman stuff.
What do you do with that?
Well, I heard the whole story from Tory's mouth. He called me personally from prison, and I now understand why he said sorry, and it's not for any shooting at all. So I'll let him tell that story when he comes home, but the sorry was not for what people think it was for.
Amber, I got to invite you back on the show because we got screwed up with time, so we'll make it.
So Chris Como is another person. We were talking about him recently too. He used to work for CNN. I don't think he works for them now. I'm not too sure. He had the Congresswoman on his podcast on YouTube, and now I think this is on YouTube, but I could be wrong. Maybe he has another channel. I'm not sure. And now he had Amber Rose up there, so he is someone that has really invested himself in this particular story, and he said so himself. In the beginning, he wasn't really reporting on the story, and he didn't care about it. But now, let me take his headphones off. He's someone that didn't really care about the story, but now that the Congresswoman has gotten involved with the story, it's kind of been, a hot topic, and the story has kind of brought itself back up. And that's why everybody is talking about the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion situation. And this is not new evidence, but this evidence was suppressed. For some reason, it wasn't brought into court. Kelsey had immunity and a whole bunch of shady stuff went on. Let's just be real here. Anybody that got eyes can see that a lot of shady stuff happened in this case. And if Megan didn't do anything wrong, there should be no problem with reopening the case or even looking at the evidence. But it sounds like Megan was mad that people was even asking about it. And we also talked about Todd Chrisley. He had a press conference after being pardoned by Trump. And so yeah, he put this video for y'all.
Please hold for a very important message.
And so there we have it, y'all. We didn't talk about everybody So, time for tea. We talked about Chris Chrisley speaks after being pardoned by Trump, and we talked about what Tory Lanez railroaded. We are going to be back tomorrow with some more topics. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. Actually, I have it written down here. Let me. Oh, okay. So for tomorrow's show, we're gonna and things may change, but for right now, this is what I think it's gonna be. We're gonna talk about Cardi B's epic meltdown and thirst trapping for Get Back. Y'all, Cardi B is back in the forefront. And so is Offset. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. And the thirst trapping that Cardi B was doing this past weekend. And then I also want to talk about Miss Shirley's meet and greet. Some stuff going on about that. And I do want to talk about food stamps. And I also want to talk about Diddy this week on Time for Tea. Let me put some notes here. But thank you guys all so much for coming through. Shout out to the Foodiegang. Hit the like button. Share this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. In the comment section down below, let me know what your thoughts are about Todd Chrisley, what you think about Tory Lanez. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think. We finna get up out of here. Oh, let me give you all my final thoughts. Okay, so my final thoughts. Todd Chrisley, I feel like what he is doing is actually very smart with the prison reform. And I feel like a lot of people, when they get out of prison, if they can, they should take this approach. And hopefully he stays out of trouble and turns his life around. I haven't seen how the wife looks. I did hear she looks kind of rough. We will see, but I will say one thing. Todd looks like he has been humbled. He also stated that they are coming back to TV. Shout out to their daughter, Savannah, for advocating for them for 2 years, even when they weren't here. If something happens to me, I would want my daughter to advocate on my behalf and to be screaming, "Free my mommy" to the end of time. So that little girl didn't do nothing wrong. I would want anybody wants their kid to do that for them. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully Todd stays out of trouble. He looked like he done got humbled. Y'all heard him. He said he was helping a whole lot of men up in jail. And now he wants to try to see if he can get as many people out as possible and if they can do prison reform, which I don't think is a bad idea. Tory Lanez. If something happens and Tory Lanez does walk free, he needs to completely change his life around. It does look like Megan was lying, though. After all the evidence that we've seen, it does look like Megan was lying. If it is found that she was lying, I do feel like she should have repercussions for her actions. Whether that's jail time, more jail time, there needs to be some repercussions for lying on somebody, I feel. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I will see you guys back here tomorrow around the same time. It's gonna be good out here, and I still got a ton of leftovers. I am not gonna be cooking today. I am not gonna be cooking today. Probably not tomorrow. But I do owe you guys a breakfast. Members only live chat. So we're gonna be having breakfast one of these days. I'm thinking we might do breakfast on Wednesday, where we actually cook breakfast. That content where I cook is mainly on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, 907 Goodies, all one word, on YouTube, for my cooking content, for my prep videos, and all the complete season 1, season 2, and season 3 of my live show. Tap in for the recipes. Tap in for the good food that we be cooking over here on 907 Goodies. And get you a membership. Join the channel, y'all. Tap in with us. And we be cooking over here. And we be having some great conversations. We'll be having some great conversations on the YouTube channel. I will see you guys in the next one. This is Time for Tea. Let me play this for y'all one more time before we get up out of here.
Please hold for a very important message.
All right. That was it. That was the important message. We talked about it. We're going to be back here tomorrow around the same time. Thank y'all so much for coming through. And I'll see you on the next one. I'm finna hit y'all with the real outro. I'll see you on this one. Foodiegang, gang, gang. 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 This is Chef Big Bang. Thank you so much for watching at 907 Goodies. Make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m. I'm out.